I again. We're back with this. I'm same hat, different shirts. Yeah, this has been an interesting couple of days with me. It's been snowing like crazy here at my college, and I'm looking outside and I'm seeing just like these literal, I want to say like 5 foot long icicles just forming under the roofs of the building next to me, and I'm really terrified to go back outside right now. But um what better way to spend time inside than a lot of different things. But so this is episode 2 of the Owl House. This is Witches Before Wizards, and I'll be honest, have you guys ever had like that one movie or episode where you see it the first time and you really don't know how to feel about it, and then you go back after a while and you see it again, and you kind of notice a few more things that some reason the first time you didn't catch? This is me this episode. Usually when I see an episode, the first time I usually pick up a lot of things. It's usually the tiniest little details or lines that I usually miss. This one, I really, for some reason, missed a lot of cues in this. Okay, so let's go through it. So the episode is basically Luce is really excited to spend a day on the Boiling Isles, learn to be a witch with Ida. Pretty much everything that she fantasized would be real in this fantasy world, but she soon learns rather quickly that that's not the case. I love the idea of this is a world of fantasy, but it still has its own reality. It's very, like, it's very creepy, it's very low life in a way, and it's very just reality, I guess. So of course Luce kind of gets bummed about that, because she kind of had this idea that being the only human in this realm, she's maybe the chosen one. And so, we're pretty much doing all the tropes you would expect for a fantasy novel. And first time I saw this, I'm like, okay, I know what they're gonna go with this, I know what they're gonna do. And that's really just the fact that I've seen so many movies and TV shows that either have done those tropes or have made fun of those tropes. And so this episode was, yeah, it was really kind of weird with that. But of course, it kind of goes a little bit further with that when Luce stumbles upon a so-called wizard, and he's the second this guy pops up on screen, I instantly knew. And I'm sorry, for me, that was a shutdown for me. I'm like, okay, I know where they're gonna go with this. But, of course, at the same time, I'm like, well, they're gonna go with this, but what are they gonna do with it? And, I gotta learn to just roll with it sometimes. So, Luce meets this wizard, and the wizard offers her a quest. I do like the way he does it. He's like, I have a quest. He's like, I have a quest. And then Luce is like, you have a quest? And he was just like, no, you didn't let me finish. I have a question. Would you like to go on a quest? And it's writing like that. That's really funny. So he gives Luce this map and says only a human could wield this staff and complete this quest and all that. And it's like, 20-year-old me is like, this is a scam from a mile away. Man. And of course, Luce, she's kind of, at first she doesn't know whether or not she wants to do it, but then Ida finds out, and she makes fun of her because of it, but then, so that's kind of what pushes Luce over that, and the fact that the map starts revealing like a seemingly hidden message, but as we soon find out, that's only just part of the scam. So Luce runs off and goes on the quest, and Ida, of course, has to track her down, and so kind of put the pieces together of what's going on. And I like how they show the audience that this is a scam. This is really a scam. Like, Ida shows up to the castle, the place where Luce found the wizard, and it's not the same. It's a wreck. And that's, you know, and I like that. I like how they're basically setting up like, yeah, this is it. We're not trying to hide this. This is legit this is legit a scam and stuff. So when Luz goes on this quest, I'll admit, the first time I sat through it, I was a little, I didn't hate it. I just wasn't that all entertained. Again, it's just, they do all the tropes. They do, let's see, they got the dreaming brute with the animal sidekick. It's this guy that has an eye patch. He's a teen, and he's very brooding. He's like, I have done many dark things and stuff. And so I kind of was a little, and so here's one of the things that I didn't notice the first time, and that's because I guess because I was just thinking like, okay, this is just Luz being Luz the first time. But now that I've seen the whole series through and I'm watching this episode again, the way Luz and this guy interact with one another, I don't know why, it just got me cracking up this time. I guess just because with what Luz has relationship-wise in this season, it's very funny to look at this and see just how ridiculous it is and how funny it is, but also how weird it is, because she's very into this dude. Like, oh my gosh, it's really crazy. And so, yeah, so you have the dream, you have the brute with the sidekick, you have a bridge with a riddle, with this tiny little thing, with this, I don't know, but it's like, the riddle is basically like, what is my name? And of course, he's got name tag right here, Chris. Very normal name for something like that in the Boiling Isles, but that's that. And so, you know, it's very, so they keep going, and there's also fairies, and they also give Luz like a cape, they give her a ring, they give her bracelets, yeah. And so basically all the gifts you imagine she would get on a quest. And so Ida, but while all that's going down, Ida's following them, and she's seeing just what is actually happening from a distance, you know, like Luz is seeing these magical fantasy-like worlds with these fantasy-like creatures, and Ida's just seeing wrecks, like destroyed towns, remnants of cats and stuff, and so Luz gets to the end, and she gets the staff, and it seems like, oh yeah, I did it. I knew I was here for a reason. I knew I could have been something. And of course, nope. All of it smacks in her, all of it blows up in her face. The wizard comes back, and it's not a wizard, it's a puppet. It's this giant, weird octopus kind of thing that's a puppeteer. And it has all the different characters that Luz is interacting with, and they're kind of like these lifeless puppets. And Luz is like, don't worry, Luz, it's just all part of the quest. You just gotta save all your friends and defeat the final boss. And it's like, and of course the puppeteer is like, it's like, nope, you're just a stupid little girl who thought that she was special. And of course, that's kind of the lesson of this episode is, we can't, you know, we can't always imagine ourselves as the special person, and and I get why some people do it, you know, like because they feel like, one, it's kind of a drive for them to do more, and two, it is a nice thing to think about here and there, because, you know, we all have those moments in life where it's like, well, we do this is us, so maybe so. And of course, Ida comes in. Like I love how King points out, you're like, you know this is a trap, right? And we're flying right into it. And Ida's like, will you come up with something then? I got nothing. And even Luz is like, Ida's not dumb enough to fly into this trap. And it's like, yeah, she kind of is. So, Ida kind of gets captured. And so Luz basically has to fight, and I really like the way she does it. Like, so she has this big sword, toy sword. I'm pretty sure it's a He-Man sword. I really, really think that's what it was. I really hope that's what it was. So, or maybe even the She-Ra sword. I don't know. I haven't seen She-Ra and the Princess of Power yet. That's probably one I'm going to do later. Really hope really hope that's good. I'm only kidding. I heard it's good. I really, it's awesome. So Luz fights this thing off. I like the way she does that. I like how then Ida teams up with her and they start fighting, and it is a kind of fun battle. And I like the finishing blow too, where Luz puts the sword on the ground and kicks it up at the octopus's head, and it just nails him right in the head. But then the octopus then shrinks down to this. When I saw this the first time, I lost it when I saw what happened. Like, he just, this giant, ugly-looking octopus then shrinks down into this tiny, cute little baby octopus. It was so funny. It was so funny because it's just like, you wouldn't expect that. I'm like, you're like, this big, creepy-looking thing is actually this? It's so funny. And then Ida makes it, and then Ida takes it a step further and eats it's but of course, after all that, Luz feels bummed out about everything, you know, because she's like, one, she's like, this isn't the world that I thought. Two, I really was dumb enough to go for the fall for this scam and stuff. And so Ida, and of course, I like then Ida just takes Luz high up into the sky and shows her the Isles. And it's a really cool design of the Isles. It's the body of a Titan, like this giant person it's just its carcass. Like, the skull is way off in the distance, its knee is like there and it's sticking up, so it's like high up in the sky, and it's formed basically a mountain. It's the main like chest area, and arms are kind of like the main land too. And so Ida's like down there, it does look kind of raggedy and disgusting and low life and stuff. And so, but she's like, but when you look at it from a different perspective, you know, that line, if you look at it from a different perspective, it's actually not that bad. And then, of course, Luz asks, like, how did she know that the wizard was scamming her? And a part of me was like, she would know that. She would know a scam if she saw one. I mean, she looks like someone that's seen a few scams here and there. But Ida then gives Luz this, and she's like, we all like to think we're special, but then she adds this. It's like, but if we all sat around waiting for a prophecy, we would die waiting. And I like that because, especially now that I've seen the movie Soul, I saw that after I saw this show the first time. And I really like the lesson in Soul is just like, you can't always just sit around and wait for that big moment that you think it's like, if I get this, or like pursue this one thing. It's like, you have to live your life, and don't always be ready for it. Be ready for it, but don't always depend on that. And I like that, you know, Luz, like, Ida's basically like, yeah, it's like, we all want to, don't try and wait for a prophecy. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just do what you do. And all that. And I really like that. I really like that lesson. I really like that idea of just, yeah, this isn't like your standard fantasy chosen one story. This is a different story. This is it's its own thing. And I really like that. I really like that idea. I mean, because it's basically the Gravity Falls of Harry Potter. That's basically, and then again, it's like going back to what it's, you know, what, especially with Dana and Alex Hirsch, you know, they're together, and, you know, just them working on this stuff is really funny, and it's really clever. It's really clever. And so, yeah, what else did I want to talk about? There are a few little tidbit things throughout, like Bonesborough, when Luz when Luz at the beginning, you know, she's super excited to get training, and Ida comes in, and she looked at, and she's just like, can I just get through the weekend and stuff like that? And so, you know, she sends Luz into town to deliver some elixirs and stuff. And so, you know, Bonesborough, it's like, it's basically what you would expect for Gravity. It's like a fantasized version of Gravity Falls during the Weird Mageddon. It's like, you got all these weird creatures, you got all these, you have buildings like one, I think there's a house that's literally held up by a hand, and then there's another house in the hand, and then there's like there's all these crazy different things, and it's so creative. It's so cool to look at. And all the creatures are so cool to look at. There's a doorbell that starts eating Luce's hand, and it's like, I love how she freaks out, but then King turns around and just walks away, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not... But it's all those simple, cool things. There's also Not Dog. There's a Not Dog. I think it's the beef with a spider as the bun rather than, you know, a bun. So there's that. Yeah, so... overall, it's a good episode. I mean, like I said, the first time I saw it, I was kind of mixed with it. I mean, I give it a little leeway because it is the second episode of the series. You know, usually usually it takes like a few episodes for the show to find its footing and really set up everything. And you know, you gotta give it that. You gotta give it credit, especially for a kid show that only runs for 22 minutes. They have to cram in a lot in 22 minutes, and so you really gotta cut them the slack here and there. So, yeah, really good episode, and hopefully see you all in the next one.